Sorry that I've been gone for quite some time, but if you guys are interested, make sure you come and join my Discord. I'm trying to revive this channel and of course the Discord. We are starting our weekly quizzes again where winners will be picked and of course they will get games and things from me and all that good stuff. We have a good night. It will be every Sunday from 9 PM UK time, so make sure you're there and come and join the Discord where we just play games with each other and we try and get that stuff back up and running. But let's get straight into the developer blog. Now this blog is mostly about map design. It has some really cool features to do with sieges which I'll get onto a bit later in the video. Sometimes though, it's misunderstood. The castles were where people lived, housed by hundreds of peoples, but the castle itself wasn't for this. It was a strong defendable location for armies to protect important places such as trading routes or villages. Now these villages were the places where people lived, and towns on the other hand could be a combination of the two. But what did these places actually consist of, and how are they going to be recreated in Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord? Now of course, trying to get the towns in Bannerlord as close to their real world counterparts is a very important thing for Tailworld, as it's something that they've been striving for throughout the development of the game. This blog is more looking into towns though, and how they are laid out, the structure of them, and the floor plan. From looking at other dev blogs and videos, we know how each region is distinguishable through its masonry and cultural buildings. For example, we can see the Empire use very much Roman style buildings, and the Ezrai very much Middle Eastern style buildings and structures throughout their towns and castles. Now the developer blog explains a few key features in the towns. First off, the marketplace. This is somewhere where of course you can trade goods, like warband, whether it's food, weaponry, horses or even luxuries, you will find them all here. This is where the blacksmith can also be found, and helping you to design and craft your own weapons throughout the game and make them accustomed to your skills and your fighting styles. Additionally, the towns will have slums and back streets to explore, but not for the faint-hearted, as these places will be home to smugglers and bandits, doing whatever it takes to make money no matter the moral cost. But of course, if you choose, you are able to become part of these gangs and do your own illegal acts throughout the towns in order to earn extra money, but you may have to burn some bridges along the way. May you taxate a street, but the Lord might not be happy, might send guards after you, or you might want to be on the other hand and actually help clear out these bandits. Now, the keep of course, is where you'll be able to find the nobles and the governors in the town, and of course where the prisoners will also be kept. Once again, this being something that you're able to manage later on if you eventually become lords of the towns or of a castle. But what about the army? What about the garrison for your towns? Well, of course, with all these places, they will be easily accessible from the overworld map for quick and efficient use, but if walking around and a more realistic feel to Bannerlord is more your thing, then you can actually get into the town and just walk around. And of course, this is great because you're able to experience new things with NPCs and events that can be witnessed there. But for the garrison, there is a military district. The guards and the town garrisons will gather here, troops will be trained, I assume you'll be able to purchase troops here as well, unless you'll already own the town, then of course you can just train up your troops. On top of this, the military district will be home to the town's stockpile in case of a defensive siege, so it's paramount to the prevail of your town, and it must be sustained. And finally, everyone's favourite place in the town, the tavern. Here you can request and help sell swords if needs be, but make sure you have the right amount of money to pay them off, or fighting for you won't be the top of their priorities. And once more, like Warband, some companions that will be able to follow you and help you along the way through the world of Karadia. Now, like I mentioned previously, if immersing yourself in the world is more your thing, then wandering around the town will actually reward you with small little details that they have put into the game. Having cellars dotted around, the NPCs will be able to show up and you'll be able to find them, so you won't have to hunt for them all the time. There'll be enterable buildings and of course NPCs in the town, making it feel alive. But once again, if time is not something you have much of, everything in the town is accessible from the overworld map, bar a couple of things that they wanted to keep in for the immersion and the dynamic feel to the world. But when you click on the town, all the NPCs that have quests are notified and you'll be able to see a little dot on them, so you'll no longer have to be looking around for ages just to find that one NPC hiding that has something for you to do. Let's move on quickly to the new siege feature that I mentioned when I started the video that I think is probably one of the coolest things in here. When a town goes into siege, whether it be you attacking or you defending, the scenery completely changes. Shops and marketplaces can no longer be entered as they board up their doors and windows to protect themselves. Civilians will flee to safety, leaving the streets barren as the fighting begins, and even some civilians can lay out barricades to aid in the defense of the town, completely changing the way sieges work throughout the game, and you'll be able to create choke points for the enemies. Some streets are blockaded up and things. It just makes a whole new dynamic to sieges, so it's not the exact town. You'll be able to choke point little bits up, and you'll be able to defend certain things. Now, of course, this is quite cool as it is a very realistic thing that could happen, but at the same time, it does help with the game, because they won't have to render all the villages and the towns and all that good stuff. They won't have to render all the marketplaces and everything that's in them. They have to block up some of the roads, so those don't have to be rendered, so we're able to run a lot better, because of course the more people you have on the map, the harder it is to run, and having all the assets of the towns and the marketplaces with all the attackers and the defenders at the same time will be pretty difficult to run. So this is the workaround that they've done for it, but I think this is a great solution for it. And of course, look on the bright side, it means we'll get more troops on the battlefield at once. Now finally, let's move on to some of the screenshots that we can see from this. Now we can see some of the generic screenshots from towns, but here we can see the first one. We can see the marketplace, the bustling marketplace. You see all the places that you can go to buy things. It feels very RPG like. Some of the blacksmiths and of course the weaponries, the armories that you can go to, of course. And we see multiple screenshots of this stuff. This looks like to be a blacksmith, this next one, where you can go and you can craft, and all your weapons that you can choose to craft to your set skills and fighting styles. And here we can see a screenshot of the way that it changes in the siege. You can see the marketplace shuts down, all the stuff, all the food is taken away, and in its place barricades are put up. So it changes the way the streets feel and the way you're actually going to defend them. So it's not going to be exactly as it is when it's in peacetime. And finally, a lovely, beautiful overhead shot, which looks to be an empire town, or it's sort of a city, to be fair. At this point, this place is absolutely massive, but you can see the intricate detail on all the architecture that they've put into this. But that's pretty much it for this week's Bannerlord dev blog. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Like I said, go enjoy my Discord if you want to come and play games with us and do the Sunday night quiz night. It's good fun. But thank you guys for watching, and until then, I will see you in the next one.